Welcome back to the Purple Pod on KSU Nation on YouTube, the best K-State podcast out there. I'm Stevie B.
I'm Kenny G.
And we have a ton of K-State news and topics to talk about today.
Yes.
I'm excited to be back on the podcast after
It's been too long. We had a little hiatus.
We've been busy, man. We just, but I will say one of the nights we were busy, we could have recorded the pod. What did we do instead, Kenny?
I don't know what we did.
We went to the K-State Baylor game. What do you mean?
We went to the K-State Baylor game, baby. Actually, I was thinking that you were talking about the night that we were about to record, but we ended up canceling because your computer problems.
Yeah, that also happened. Yeah, there's been a ton of issues, but we do want to thank all K-State fans for subscribing and watching. I did a little quick video of some sights and sounds from the K-State Baylor game. Surprisingly, that hit 1,000 views, man. That's what's up.
It was a really cool game. I actually was able to get an all-access pass randomly. My boss hooked me up with one of those. We ended up finding out that those passes are legit. I mean, you actually informed us that those passes get us free food. I wish I would have known that. But
there's a secret room down down the old tunnel to the right. In a tunnel to the right, there's a room, free drinks, food. I don't know how much food you ate, but it sounded like it was a lot, dude. Was that a good time?
It was a great time. I actually want my boss to get a hold of some more of those passes, man.
Okay.
So
we have a ton of topics to talk about. We are going to get right in. Let me see if I got this correct here on the outline.
We got a lot to cover. K-State.
We got to get into our Willie Good news, the Willie report here. I wish I had some graphics made, but I don't. K-State women are ranked number 4 in AP poll, number 2 in the coaches poll that just came out today. And on top of all of that, they just won at Baylor last night, coming back from 13 points down to win 58-55. Shout out to the Lady Cats, man.
The Lady Cats. Oh my gosh, man. They are popping off right now. We knew they were good when they beat Iowa. But man, this is just, they're getting the respect that they deserve. They are just putting up them numbers. They're playing great, man. I'm really proud of the women's basketball team. They are just really representing K-State really well, and it's just awesome to see.
And they just beat a team that we care about this past Saturday. They just beat the in-state rival Kansas Jayhawks last Saturday in front of 9,600 K-State fans at home at Bramlage Coliseum. The biggest K-State crowd for women's game in quite some time, man. As we keep going here, though, there is another piece of news. It's not really good news. They did lose Aoka Lee, the All-American center, for at least 4 weeks, if not more, with an ankle injury. It sounds like she broke her ankle and she played a full week on it, including that win against Texas the week before. Shout out to her, man. She sounds like a tough cookie. But, K-State still found a way to win against KU and at Baylor without her. Jeff Mitty, I guess he knows what he's doing coaching some K-State women's basketball.
Absolutely, man. It sucks to see a player go down, especially a player that is, as important. I mean, they're all important, but, having somebody like that go down, especially in the middle of the season, I don't think that we have a question whether or not the K-State Wildcats, in terms of the women's basketball team, are going to not make the tournament. I think they're definitely going to make the tournament, but I'm just saying it's hard to see a good player go down. Hopefully we pray for a speedy recovery, and we're going to keep moving this along. We've got a lot to get through here.
Yes. So K-State women are currently projected as a 2 seed, possibly a 1 seed in the women's NCAA tournament bracket. Right now, the K-State men, as we continue through the Willie Good News report here, K-State men are currently projected into the field as whether or not it's one of the last 4 teams in or not. K-State is projected in the field by basically all of the bracketologists, and that is what you want to see. K-State is 4-4, tied for first place in the Big 12 after a couple wins at home this past week. An overtime win. We'll get to that here in a minute against Baylor. And then
You
this
said
past
4-4, by the way.
14-4
Yeah,
and 4-1 in the Big 12.
Yeah, there you go.
And like I said, they beat Baylor in overtime, and then they found a way to beat a not very good Oklahoma State team this past Saturday by 4. Starting off 4-1 in the Big 12, tied for first place, Kenny. That's a pretty darn good start for Jerome Tang and the men's basketball team.
Yeah, it's exciting to see that. Obviously, the Oklahoma State Cowboys coming in, they were coming in as a not very, impressive team. However, it did appear as if they were ready to play. They were excited to play in front of our crowd. Our crowd is unbelievable, man. Like they just go absolutely insane. And I would venture to say that the guys were sort of overlooking Oklahoma a little bit. At least that's what it kind of seemed like.
Yeah,
man, we have got. Even though we're 4-1, we're tied for first. Actually, I would say we're in second because Texas Tech has the
tiebreaker, and we will not play
us,
them again. So.
And we're not going to play them again. So there's that, and we barely lost to them. But we've been having some issues. Even though we're tied for first, we've got a problem in terms of turning the ball over. I mean, it's hard to be a K-State fan, and
17 turnovers back-to-back games, and we're gonna break these games down here in a minute. But
yeah, it's just hard to see the Cats when it seems like it's just the fundamental stuff that they're having a problem with. Like in terms of like rebounds, we're on fire there. Our defense is actually really good. We're having a rough offense, and that's due to a lot of these turnovers. I'm really hoping that Coach Tang and gang really get it together and try to shore up these issues as we get into the very tough part of our schedule.
Yeah, it's here, man. It is here.
Yeah, so I want to say this really quick as we're going in. This part of the stat I was going to announce. At the beginning of the season, Coach Tang said that we needed 9 wins to get into the NCAA tournament in March. We're currently 4-1 in conference play. We have 13 games left. 10 of those, we need 6 wins. Okay, 5 more wins. We need 5 more wins to get 9 wins. So 13 games left. 10 of those games are against opponents that are ranked in the top 25.
It's going to be a tough road. It's going to be a tough road for sure. We knew it would be. I mean, it feels like I heard someone say this today. Big 12 basketball is like the SEC football. Like it is a gauntlet. If you figure out a way to win this conference or really even just get into the tournament, you're having a darn good season. I mean, you think about, like you said, there's 10 opponents left on our schedule that are ranked, and we've already played a handful or 1 or 2 already. So we actually played 2. We are 1-1 against them. At Texas Tech, we lost, and then we beat Baylor. So we have 12 ranked opponents just in the Big 12 out of 18 games. That is insane, dude.
That's why. And to be fair, I mean, it seems like K-State is getting snubbed a lot. You know,
I agree.
And I think you just need to slot them in. I mean, we beat Villanova this year. We've beaten Baylor. Texas Tech was a loss that could have easily been a win if the referees had eyeballs. And it's just one of them things where it's like, man, it never seems like K-State gets the respect they deserve. But hey, we'll just have to keep proving have that chip on our shoulder when we go into these next games. Very, very tough opponents coming up here. Arguably the best teams in the nation that we're going up against. So
absolutely. And then last thing here on the Willie Good news report, we did get a commit transfer receiver from Penn State. We
That's
have
right.
Dante Cephas. I'm going to pull up his stuff really quickly before we move on to some more basketball stuff. We keep thinking we're done with football, man. We just keep thinking we're done, and we're just not quite done. So
No.
Dante Cephas is a senior wide receiver, like I said, from Penn State. Now, he did spend some time at Kent State as well. As you can see, he is a 6'1", 187 senior. Last couple years, not so well in terms of touchdowns and yards, but if you go back to 2021, 82 receptions. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. 82 receptions for 1,240 yards and 9 touchdowns, including an 80-yard touchdown. I think this is pretty good considering it feels like receiver was the one position it felt like we were worried about the most going into 2024. I don't know. It feels like this is a pretty good get for the K-State football team for sure.
Yeah, as far as receivers, I mean, we have Keegan Johnson coming back, and of course, we've got our big target, our standout rookie, Jace Brown,
Yep.
the true freshman. So it's cool to see that we're getting some more receivers. We already had a receiver coming in that we already knew about before already. I can't remember his name right now; it's escaping me, but he had already committed. And we were really excited that he's coming. And now we've got
Trey Davis.
Yeah, that's right. Trey Davis was
the 4-star.
Yeah, that's right. Trey Davis. And now we're getting the Penn Dante, right? Dante. Yeah, we're getting
Dante Cephas.
Cephas.
Nice hair, bro.
He's
hair.
It's gonna match with
he's got some like Malik Knowles going on here with that hair.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. It's gonna go well with Avery pretty well. I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna be the
I
team of hair.
I agree.
That's
Team
sure.
hair. Team hair. Yeah. Yeah. And I have also heard rumblings that Jaden Jackson may come back to K-State. We'll see. I did see K-State football put out a video today of the whole football team just working out, lifting weights.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw in there Keenan Garber, the senior corner, working out the football team still. He has an extra year of eligibility because of COVID. I think he's going to use it. He hasn't announced it yet, but I feel like he's going to use it. We do know that Daniel Deuce Green is not coming back. He is going to go to the NFL draft after like 6 or 7 years at K-State.
Yeah, that was kind of a heartbreaker because there was a chance that he could have came back on like a very rare like 7th season. It would have been really cool to have him be a part of that team next year, but it is what it is. He's going to make the best decision for himself, and good luck to you, man. I hope you get picked up by somebody because you are a freaking beast.
And he's a good dude too. Like some of those other guys, like I don't want to say anything bad about anyone. A lot of guys transferred. I get it. Some guys didn't play in a bowl game. I get it. But he was hurt, and he was still there for everything, dude. Like, he was at the bowl game, hanging out with the team. He was on the sidelines, always talking to his teammates, the other linebackers, pumping up before games. Daniel Green is a great guy, and we are definitely going to miss him at K-State for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on here to some more K-State basketball thoughts here. First topic up, K-State tied for first place. We kind of already talked about it a little bit. Kenny G, I'm not sure about you. I did not think after 5 games, regardless of the fact I feel like we played some pretty soft teams, I did not think K-State would be atop the Big 12 at 4-1. They're 1-1 on the road. They did beat West Virginia on the road by, I think, like 13 to 15 points, which you already know that's a tough place to win. Texas lost there. KU lost there. K-State also beat UCF at home to start Big 12 play. UCF won at Texas. They won at home against KU. So, I mean, even some of these like these teams that don't seem that difficult are still finding ways to beat some good teams. So I feel like it's pretty respectable the fact that K-State is 4-1 after 5 games and tied for first in the Big 12 right now.
This is literally the hardest conference to predict. I don't know how anybody could say with an honest, with full honesty and certainty that they know what the outcome of these games are going to be. I mean, you can't know. the teams that you're like, oh yeah, they're bottom of the barrel. Well, they just took out the number 3 team in the nation. Like, it's unbelievable to me. Houston has lost. Like, no one is safe. No one is safe in this conference, and we're starting to learn very quickly. It's very hard to win on the road in this conference.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. The fan base is here for it. I mean, I'm going to venture to say that the fan base in the Big 12 basketball conference they probably know what they have, and that's why they're showing up and they're showing out.
So
it's crazy.
There are 7 ranked teams in the Big 12 right now. 7 out of 14 teams are ranked in the top 25, which is absolutely insane. K-State is not one of them currently, but if they have a good week here, they've got a chance to get in there, man. Playing at Iowa
They're
State,
just outside. They have to be. They have to be just outside the top.
I don't. We can look at the rankings. I would imagine they're probably like 35th to 40, somewhere in there right now. But if they beat Iowa State at Iowa State and win at Houston, even going 1-1, I feel like they should be talked about as being a part of the top 25. But look at this. So we're looking at the overall record here. K-State's 14-4. Look at this. Away record. K-State is the only team that I see with a winning road record out of 14 teams in the Big 12, which is the toughest conference in America. K-State is the only team with a winning road record. I did not expect to see that. I'm not gonna lie. I just noticed.
Nobody would have predicted that. Not a single if you would have said back when in November, like, oh yeah, this is what's gonna happen. This is gonna be the result. You're lying. There's no way that you would have predicted this. And this is impressive. I'm just excited for Coach Tang. I'm excited for this program, given the fact that also we had all this drama. We lost probably arguably our best player. And that obviously throws a huge wrench in the entire system that Coach Tang had been building up for the entire offseason in the summertime, all that stuff, like all the training, the practices and all that stuff to be able to get ready for this season. And then you lose your best player that's going to be like pivotal for this team right at the beginning of the season. You lose him. That's going to throw a huge wrench in the whole system. And it's amazing to see how well K-State has responded. So
here's what I'm going to say as well. Willie McNair has been way better than I anticipated down low. Like, I think K-State's undefeated when he scores double digits this year, which is something we need to keep feeding, right? Like keep feeding him the ball, right?
Yeah.
K-State's only loss right now is to the other number 1 team in the Big 12. Now, K-State did kind of give that game away. They let Texas Tech go an 11-2 run in the game. K-State lost because of a questionable call at the end. Should have been a travel. They decided not to call a travel, decided to give Texas Tech an and 1. I'm over that. And here's why I'm over that. Because playing in games like that, playing in games like the Providence game, K-State is 10-0 in overtime games, including that Baylor game, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Playing in close games like that is going to get you experience for how to win close games later in the season. And the fact that K-State's already played in a couple of those is very good for the future. And K-State was able to use that experience this past week. Let's go ahead and start getting into this Baylor game here. You and I were at the game. I'll tell you what, I was pretty impressed with Baylor, even though they went 0-2 last week. They got a pretty good team, man. And I think going into that game, they were number 1 in scoring, number 1 in three-point shooting, number 1 in a ton of categories. And K-State still found a way to win that game. And Jerome Tang is now 3-0 against his former mentor, Scott Drew. And you and I, we had our score predictions for this game. I think I said 68-59. My hot take was Tyler Perry would go off. He did not. You said, was it 72-69? But your hot take with the win, with the major win, was this game would go into overtime And that is exactly what happened. Kenny, you are like the basketball whisperer, man. You're like the basketball Nostradamus, man. I don't know how
I
you
don't.
I don't know how you picked that. I don't know
I
how.
I felt like uh it was going to be competitive. I think Coach Tang always has something up his sleeve against Baylor. He he always seems to come out on top against that
Yep.
team. So, I felt like Baylor's still competitive. They're going to make it close. They ended up making it really close, closer than I wanted. I mean, I don't like overtime games. I don't know why I predicted that. I would much rather just go try to go with like, oh yeah, we're gonna blow them out, or oh, we're gonna get blown out. Like, I hate these like games where my blood pressure is going through the roof, my heart rate is racing. I don't know what's gonna happen. It makes me so uneasy feeling,
It was
but
crazy, dude. It
but it
was
is
crazy.
also so entertaining. I lost my voice. That's probably why we didn't do the show the next day for sure. Um, I completely lost my voice. I didn't get it back for a few days. And yeah,
That crowd was wild, dude. That crowd was wild. Let's look at these. Let's look at the score and stats, dude. So K-State won 68-64. Baylor was winning at halftime 31-26. I want to say the most they were down in this game was 8, but it felt like Baylor was winning like almost the whole game. Every time K-State would kind of like go on a run, like there was Sandstorm with like 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left after Tyler Perry hit a three to go up 45-42. Baylor went on like a 9-0 run, and K-State was down 6 at that point, and still figured out a way to come back and send this game to overtime. Let's look at some stats here, and then we'll get our thoughts on it. Willie McNair Jr., 4 points, 7 boards. David Gasson struggled in this game. He just did 2 points, 6 rebounds, but Arthur Kaluma would probably be our cat of the game, our MVP, our player of the game. 12 points and 10 rebounds, including the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
And one on a three
On a three.
In overtime.
Wow.
It's sensational player. He found a way to figure it out. He's an undersized forward because K-State plays him a lot at the 4 because they have so many guards and not as many big men. But he still found a way to be the player of the game. 12 points, 10 rebounds. Like I said, game-winning shot and one, and he made the free throw. So a 4-point play when it mattered most to put K-State up by 2 late. I think it was 66-64 after the free throw. I'll get into the rest of the stats here. Cam Carter, 18 points. He did have 7 turnovers. That is not good. Turnovers have been an issue, and we'll talk about that more. Tyler Perry did score 18 as well. 11 points of those, though, were from the free throw line, including 2 late. He hit the first one, and there was like 3 seconds left, and there was a guy in our section. He goes, "Start the bus."
Man, we were in the best section for that game. I mean, we were just surrounded by some seriously purple bleeding diehard K-State fans that were totally like willing and able to voice their opinions on the game, and we were literally directly just right behind the visitors bench, and so definitely shooting some chants their way. And yeah, starting the bus, sit down, coach. There was a lot not on our court.
It was a little more colorful than that, but yes,
it was a lot more colorful than that. But it was very, very entertaining to just be down there in the trenches. I think we were on like row 6 or 7. We were really close to the court.
We were.
And man, we were just down in there, and I had not had so much fun at a basketball game in my life. It was a really good time.
Absolutely.
I had a blast.
Absolutely.
Again, I had all access pass. It was really cool,
For sure. K-State did get 14 points from their bench, which is not something K-State has really done at all this year. Like, it feels like the K-State bench has struggled a lot. Dorian Finister with 5 points, man, in 19 minutes. He's got a dunk in, I think, several games now. Like, he's really been a bright spot off the bench. He comes in with energy. He gets rebounds. he's not really hitting the outside shot yet, but he will at some point. He made some pretty good plays, including that pass to R.J. Jones, who hit a big three in overtime to cut the deficit to, I think, 2 at that point. But yeah, even Jarrell Colbert, he scored 6 points, including 2 for 2 from the free throw line, which is great for a big man. You love to see it. I do have a question for you, though, Kenny. K-State shot 41% basically, but they did turn it over 17 times in this game and an Oklahoma State game. I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself here. Is that something K-State should be worried about, or do you feel like it's just like early season or early conference play jitters?
Dude, I think they've played enough games right now. Uh, from what I've gathered, and I've listened, because this has been brought up in press conferences. Obviously, it's a very alarming stat that you do not want to. It's not a good stat to be so bold and in your face. And from what I've understood, Coach Tang is saying that the guys need to be able to release the ball and just take shots a lot more often and a lot quicker. So it just seems as and going back and rewatching some of these games on film, I do see that we spend a lot of time trying to set up, where I think we just need to play a little faster. I think that's what was so great about last year's team, was that we were just so quick at getting down the court and just making the shot and just putting it up there. I mean, we had the players to do that, obviously, and these players are more they're more or less like glue players, where they really are, they're okay with like feeding the ball and just kind of being the workhorses of the team. But you have to have a guy that's going to be confident, that's going to step up and just take the shot.
Yeah,
and be a little selfish a little bit,
And it feels like there's a couple guys on the team that are doing that. Tyler Perry and Cam Carter. I like to see Arthur Kaluma do that more, because I feel like he's probably the best of those three, and probably the most clutch and the most versatile, because he can play several positions. He was a player of the game. Yes, he was a player of the game in this game. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move forward and move over to the Oklahoma State game, because I also feel like he was a player of the game for that game.
Right.
And he hit some big shots. Cam Carter did as well. I'm not going to lie. Cam Carter played pretty well, especially down the stretch. He had a couple big plays, and I want to talk about him here. He had a banked in three. The bank was open on a three late in the game. And then I think that was to get him to within one, or maybe even to tie the game. And then there was 1.5 seconds left on the shot clock, and they inbounded it to him like right by the basket, and he laid it in right before time expired. But he played great. K-State found a way to come back in this game as well. I think they were down 10 in this game to a team that's 0-5 in the Big 12, but they didn't play like that, man. They played their hearts out, man. They shot 41.5%. They made 9 threes, and K-State still found a way to win. Like we talked about, though, Arthur Kaluma, 23 points, player of the game, I think, for both of us here, including 7 rebounds. I think he scored the last 9 or 11 points of the first half to get K-State back to within 4. I mean, he's playing really, really good basketball right now, man. He really is. And like we talked about, it feels like he needs to be more selfish with the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to go back on Cam Carter a little bit, man, he's a gamer. I mean, that guy, it seems like he's so versatile. Like, he can kind of take any shot. He can drive it in. He can take the three. He's got a great looking jump shot, and he plays really well on defense. He's just like, again, and just listening to him in his interviews, seems like a really soft-spoken guy, really selfless player, really just like a hardworking team mentality kind of player, which is really cool. I think we have a lot of those guys on the team, like we were talking about. We don't have any of those like selfish players, but man, Cam Carter, that guy can give you he can give you the whole entire game. Like he plays hard the whole time. I never see him slacking. He even will get in there and take some fouls too. Like he fouled out on the Baylor game. And then he had a few early fouls in the Oklahoma State game. So, and he's getting in there. He's playing aggressive, man. And that's what you like to see. Yeah. As far as who else were we talking about? I forgot.
Arthur Kaluma.
Or McNair. Oh, Kaluma. Okay. Yeah, Kaluma, like I'm just gonna relay what I've already said. I guess again, he just needs to be a little bit more confident in himself, I think, and just be able to take those shots, be on the same page with the TP. You know, I think he's good enough. I think his confidence should just meet his potential or his actual skill. But I think a lot of that just comes with like being in the games. I mean, it's a new team, you know, new environment. But I mean, you've been playing enough games with him at this point. I think the chemistry should be there, and I think it's getting there. There's like moments of brilliance from like, oh my gosh, like we're really locking in here. But then there's other moments where I'm like, okay, well,
we're not playing so long right now. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of basketball, right? It's a game of runs for sure, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I think I said this before at the start of the season, with in spite of not having the whole drama stuff that happened at the beginning of the season, I still had faith in the coaching staff, and I think that's what it really boils down to, is making sure that they're prepared and that they are preparing their team with a game plan and making sure that they execute the game plan on the court. So really, really cool to see. Day came back.
Scored 4 big points.
Yep, he was. I'm so impressed with how I always say this. He's got the best ball handling skills in the bunch. At least it just seems that way. He plays a little flashy, the way that his style is, which I totally welcome that. It's entertaining for me as a viewer. So I'm just happy to see him back on the court, because he did miss that Baylor game. So kind of excited to see him.
I think he missed progress. 2 games actually. I think he missed a Texas Tech game too.
Oh, did he? Oh man, I didn't realize that.
Yep. I do want to talk about a few things here. Willie McNair Jr., 5 of 6 from the field, 10 points. Like I said, K-State's undefeated when he scores 10 or more points. Gasson, again, struggled. He scored 5 points. They did take away one of his threes, though. He hit 1, but he could have hit 2. A foul occurred, I guess, right before he shot it. It was a weird situation. Kaluma scored 23 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 7 boards. Cam Carter scored 15 points, including a couple of big ones late, including that Bankton 3. Tyler Perry scored 9 points. He struggled the last couple of games, but he can get so hot. I'm not worried about him whatsoever. I will say this. It felt like in that first half, K-State settled for too many threes because they hit a couple of them. But if you look at their 2-point shooting, K-State was 8 of 22 from 3-point land. They were 17 of 26 from inside the arc, which is 65%. K-State has got to figure out a way to cut down the turnovers and to start shooting at the basket more. Because if you can get those turnovers down, take away 5 to 6 of those, right? If K-State can get on like 10 or 11 a game and get those shots in the paint, how many more points can K-State score? And how many more games can K-State win if they do that? Right?
Yeah, it's a difference between like a 4-point win and a 12-point or 16-point win.
Or it could be a difference between a 4-point loss and an 8-point win, right? Like it can make a major difference going down the stretch for sure. Absolutely. Any other thoughts on this game? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was texting you. I thought K-State was going to lose.
It almost sounded like you said I thought you almost said I was sexting you.
No, I was texting with a T. Sorry, my throat hurts a little bit. I'm a little messed up right now. But no, I was texting you and I was saying K-State's going to lose this game. They figured out a way. Back-to-back games. I talked about it before. K-State playing in those early games against teams that, those games came down to the wire. It was good for their experience playing in games like this. And on Tuesday against Baylor, K-State figured out a way to win late. And that's what you like to see. Hopefully K-State can continue to win some more close games. Like we said earlier, K-State is 10-0 in overtime games. This wasn't an overtime game. Baylor was. But the fact that K-State is 10-0 in overtime in just a season and a half is absolutely nuts for a first-time head coach in Jerome Tang, which last year, like we said, that was his first time ever being a college basketball head coach, man. I'm excited for him and for K-State going forward, man, because it feels like a great fit. We've already said it 1,000 times. I love Jerome Tang. not just because he's a great coach, but because he's just like a man of the people. He's a great person for sure.
So I just for the viewers, I think it's kind of entertaining to read back this this texting back and forth between Steve and I during that game.
Okay, hold on.
Steve goes, we couldn't handle the success. We're gonna lose this game. And I said, and this is so sad. And then I immediately talked about the amount of times that Tyler Perry gets elbowed is unreal. Can we just address that for a second?
So
he gets elbowed so much.
How can he get elbowed in the face and they go look at it and still not give it something? Like, I understand it's inadvertent, but like KU got a call to win the game because of that, dude. And K-State can't get anything. It's insane to me.
It's not Allen Fieldhouse, and it's not KU.
Allen Fieldhouse, I guess. It's not Allen Fieldhouse, I guess. Yeah, I'm surprised that's all I said, honestly. I can't remember everything that I said.
You said it was absolute poop officiating, but a more colorful way. And I said, where is the foul? Like, I didn't understand where the foul was. Apparently, there was a foul call that I didn't understand. And then this is when Cam Carter was going off because I started saying Cam, mother fudging Carter.
Yep.
And then you said, we need one stop. I said,
we got it. He dribbled out of bounds. They dribbled out of bounds.
Yeah, a massive stop. It was almost as bad as the like him dribbling out of bounds was almost as bad as the missed field goal kick from the Bills. Why do we?
That was awesome.
So why do we play these close games all the time? My blood pressure cannot handle it. Game. By the way, we have 69 points. Just want to throw that out there.
You said that too.
Yeah, it was good.
Reading these texts back in the moment is crazy, dude. It is crazy.
Yeah, it was really. I really wanted to be at Bram. I kept saying that I want to be at Bram. I want to be there.
Yeah,
it was popping off there.
I wasn't wrong though, dude. Like, it was bad officiating in that game, and Jerome Tang even said after the game that like the focus was not the same for that game that it was for the Baylor game, and because I said it didn't feel like we could handle success.
I said we were overlooking this team big time.
We totally did, but he also said he's never seen an ugly win. K-State won, and that's all that matters, right? Like, K-State won the game. That's all that matters.
Yeah, put it in the dub.
Put it in the dub
side. Yeah.
Okay, so next I want to get into. We're going to give our score predictions for tomorrow's game, K-State at Iowa State, and then we're going to give our, I think it's week 4 Big 12 picks. I think we're just going to do just this weekend's game because it's hard to get a good look at next week when there's still games going on right now as we record this. So, Kenny, I don't know what the line is. I guess I can look really quickly.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now.
Go ahead. K-State at Iowa State. What do you got?
Listen, I'm going to preface this by saying this is the hardest conference to predict, okay? We don't know what's going to happen. So, with that being said, Iowa State, they're ranked. They're a pretty dang good basketball team. People have even argued about saying that they're probably one of the best defensive basketball teams in the nation. With that being said, I think K-State can go toe-to-toe with them in terms of our defense and their defense. I'm thinking this is going to be a low-scoring game because the defenses are going to be so good. I think it's going to be somewhere around. I'm going to be a homer of this game. Don't ask me the next game. I'm going to be a homer for this game, and I'm going to say K-State wins. It's going to be a win of 57-56.
I like it. So Iowa State is favored by 8.5 points, and we'll get your hot takes here in just a second. So you said 58-56. Is that what you said?
57-56.
57-56, a 1 point win. Okay.
A 1 point win.
Iowa State's ranked. I think they're 23. Let me look here real quick. They are 23rd. They are favored by 8.5 points. The over/under is 134.5. They're basically saying that Iowa State is going to win 74-65 or 73-65, essentially. Or I guess it's 74-65. However, I do think K-State's going to win, despite the fact that Iowa State ranks in the top 5 of Ken Palm defense. They're in the top 15 in Ken Palm overall, which is Ken Pomeroy. He's a basketball analytics person. Their offense, I think, is like 55 or 56. K-State's defense is in the top 25 of Ken Palm defense, but our offense is like 129th. So our offense has obviously been an issue from game in, like sometimes here and sometimes there. So I understand why you'd say it's going to be a low scoring game. However, I do think K-State gets up for these big games, and Iowa State is a big game. Like they are a rival of ours. Like let's just call it what it is. It's Farmageddon in football. It's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna say K-State wins. I was gonna go 71-70, but after like looking at the stats there, I think it's gonna be like 63-60. K-State wins. And my hot take is that Cam Carter is going to score the go-ahead basket. K-State's going to be up by 1, and they're going to hit. Cam Carter is going to hit a pull-up jumper from 12 feet to put K-State up by 3. And Iowa State will not make it 3 to tie the game, and K-State's going to win 63-60. What is your hot take?
I'm gonna say my hot take is that Gason's gonna get back. He's gonna come back this game. He's been lacking last couple games. I think he's gonna start. I think he's gonna start pulling up some numbers. I think he's gonna get a lot of boards, and I think he's gonna put up some good points for us. So I don't know what you call it. Is that a double double? I'm terrible in terms of
double double. So 10 plus points and 10 plus rebounds.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it. All right, let's look at this weekend's game. I think it's week 4 of the Big 12. It would be game number 7 for K-State. I'm going to pull up the scoreboard here. We're going to pick every game. We're going to start with the K-State game, of course, because it's their first game on Saturday. K-State is playing at number 4 Houston. They don't have a line out yet. I would assume it'd probably be like Houston minus 12.5 or 13.5. They're a top 5 team. They've only lost twice, but both times are in the Big 12. Kenny, I'm going to you first. Yeah. What's your score prediction for K-State at Houston on Saturday?
Yeah.
Remind you, we are filming this on Tuesday, January 23rd.
Yeah. So this is going to be probably no surprise to anybody in the country. K-State is definitely a massive underdog against this team. Houston is one of the best teams in the nation, if not the best team in the nation. But in terms of this conference, anybody can beat anybody. So, however, I'm not going to predict that K-State is going to win this game.
This is the first time you're picking K-State to lose this season.
The first time I'm picking K-State to lose. Because, I mean, look, you just can't deny the talent that is on Houston's. I mean, it's too much, man. However, like I said, I will be extremely happy if K-State wins this game. But I believe that Houston's going to run away with this game big time. We're playing it at Houston, so we don't even get home court advantage there. It's going to be rough. I'm thinking Houston's probably going to hit about 88, and K-State will probably hit around the 70 mark.
18-point loss.
Like 88.
It almost feels like that says more about Houston than it does K-State, right? Like you said how good they were.
Yeah, it's not a diss on K-State. It's just Houston is they're on a whole nother level, man. I think their loss was a fluke.
What's your hot take? And then I'll give my score prediction and hot take.
Against this team?
Yes.
Hot take. I'll say I'll say creative hot take. How about this? How about none of K-State? No, that's not really that big of a hot take. I don't even
Okay,
know.
I'll come back to you. How about that?
Yeah, come back to me on that one.
Okay, all right. So here's what I'm saying. I'm going to pick K-State to win this game, and here's why. Houston has a guard on their team that transferred from Baylor. His name is L.J. Cryer. And guess what? Jerome Tang used to coach him at Baylor, right? He knows him very well. He recruited him. He played at Baylor last year. K-State went 2-0 against Baylor. I do think Houston is very good. However, I think Jerome Tang is one of the best coaches in college basketball. I know K-State's got a short bench right now, and I know K-State is not a top 5 team by any stretch. It feels like an upset, though, to me. Like, K-State's going to win one of these games this week. They're either going to beat Iowa State or Houston. I don't know if they're going to go 2-0, but K-State's going to win one of these games. And I feel pretty comfortable saying K-State's going to win this game in an upset pick. I'm going to pick K-State to win 61-60. And my hot take is our guy, Tyler Perry, game-winning shot, three-pointer, top of the key, step back, three-point shot to win the game, 61-60. He's going to do like the stare down at the camera after, and LJ Cryer is going to be crying after the game because they lost. That's my hot take. K-State's going to win this game, dude. What's your hot take?
That's wild. Well, I don't think you realize this. You said that they're going to win at least one of these games, and you predicted that they're going to win both.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm actually the one that's going with your original take of 1-1 and actually sticking with the 1-1. It's hard to give a hot take when you believe that the K-State's going to lose. I guess I never really even thought about this. I'll just say this. I'll say that Kaluma is gonna be the shining star of this game. You think it's gonna be Tyler Perry could still make the game winner, and Kaluma could still be the shining star. But I'll say that Kaluma is the one. He's gonna finally have the confidence to start making these shots. He's gonna look a lot better at getting the ball and just releasing it. I think this is the game. You know what you did say about Iowa State, and in the Iowa State game. K-State does manage to play to the level of their opponents.
Yep,
so, I mean, we saw that with the Oklahoma State. We saw that with Baylor. We saw that with Villanova. You know, it could be the case that we just play to the level of whoever we're playing against, and we always make it a close freaking game. So, unless you're UCF, then we actually just dominated them. But,
they did. K-State did.
K-State absolutely took a dump. I mean, we put in our entire second team, and KU couldn't even get it done. That's hilarious. All right. Yep. So that makes me really happy. I'm like, man, what did they do wrong over there? Maybe KU isn't the hottest thing on in the Big 12 this year. Maybe K-State actually has a chance.
Next game on our schedule here. Big game. Monster game. They might be more rowdy for this game than they are against K-State. Iowa State could go 2-0 this week against two teams from Kansas. We'll see. They have KU at home on Saturday. I'm just gonna say it. Iowa State's gonna win.
Iowa State. I can't vote
79-74. 79-74. I think KU's struggling right now. They're still a very, very good team. I think Iowa State's going to win this game.
I predicted KU to win too many times for my liking, all right? It's time to go against them. Iowa State, let's get it done. You're not going to win against us. You're going to win against KU. You're going to be pissed that you lost against us, but you'll be way more – you'll forget about it after the win against KU. So let's get it done. I'm going to go – they're going to hold KU. I'm thinking they're going to hold KU to like 55 points.
So what's your score?
KU's going to have 55. I'll say Iowa State has 60.
Okay. So we both have a 5-point win for Iowa State. I like it. Texas Tech at Oklahoma, a pair of top 25 teams back to back here. Oklahoma's at home. I think Texas Tech is pretty good. I think Oklahoma's going to win this game, though.
I'm taking Texas Tech.
I'm going to take Oklahoma 74-69.
I'm taking Texas Tech. We'll go 59-58.
59-58. I like it. Texas They just won at home this past Saturday against Baylor.
Buzzer beater. What a
Buzzer beater.
crazy,
That's a Big 12.
crazy shot.
That's a Big 12, bro. BYU at home against Texas. BYU is ranked. Pains me to say this. I've not been high on BYU like all year. One of their wins is against Iowa State, where they shot like 15 threes, or they made 15 threes. It's not going to happen this game. I think Texas is going to find a way to win at BYU. It's going to be like 74-68.
I'm actually excited because we didn't even get to play BYU in football, but we get to play them twice in basketball. So,
oh, we do. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the team that we play twice. At least that's what I thought.
BYU we play twice. I know that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, I thought you said Texas.
No, I said we didn't get to play BYU in football.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
This year, and they were actually happy about that.
Right. They probably were. They probably were really happy.
They were really happy we didn't play them in football, yeah. But we get to play them twice this year in basketball. So I don't know. I think BYU is having, I would say, those early season jitters. I think that they can live up to their level. It's a home court advantage. We know how strong home court advantage is in this conference.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree again. I'm going to go BYU. I'm going to go ahead and say BYU is going to be making, we'll go 74, Texas. We'll go 68.
I want to say that Kenny has got like a 2 or 3 game lead on me on the overall basketball picks so far. So, pair of very bad teams here. West Virginia at Oklahoma State. It feels like a game you just got to pick the home team and a pair of bad teams. So I'm going to pick Oklahoma State to win like
yeah. I mean
69-61.
It's hard because West Virginia took out KU.
Yeah, they are too high on themselves after that. And Oklahoma State's not as bad as their record. Like they're not a good team, but they've lost a ton of close games. They lost in overtime to Baylor at home. They lost to us by 4. They could have easily won both of those games.
So you're thinking that the 0-5, right?
Yeah, they should be at least 2-3, at least.
The 0-5 is a fluke, huh? I mean, okay, it could go either way here. So when you lose that many games, it could be a situation where you're like your confidence is on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got West Virginia, who is like, maybe coming, getting the hangover of a huge win.
Coming back down to earth.
So this might be, I would arguably say, maybe the worst. Now, it could be the case where Oklahoma State is like really hungry and they're just like desperate for a win. But it's all a matter about how these guys respond in this. And like you start out 0-5. Not a very good start. It's kind of how Oklahoma State football started, really bad, and then they like turned it on.
Yeah, they lost to South Alabama by like 3 touchdowns or something, and then they turned
it on. They turned it on
9 or 10 games or whatever.
Crazy. So, you know what? For that, I will say Oklahoma State. They're gonna find a way. They're gonna get it done. I agree with you. I'll even take your score. I'll just copy paste your score.
Command C, Command V. That's a Mac guy. A pair of like private schools here. Baylor against TCU. Baylor is number 15 in the country. TCU won some big games. I think they just lost pretty badly though on Saturday. I can't remember the score. Another one of these games where I feel like the home team is probably just going to win this game. I'm going to say it's going to be like high scoring, 74-71. Baylor wins.
I'll say it's a little bit higher than that, but I still think Baylor is going to walk away with the victory. I think that's going to be, we'll say 80-72. 80-72.
8-point win. I like it. Last game of this weekend's games. UCF at Cincinnati. I think we're both going to pick Cincinnati to win this game, but UCF could be sneaky, man. They won at Texas. They won at home against KU. It could be a good game. I think Cincinnati's better. I think Cincinnati's a pretty good team. I would say they're right around K-State. Not as athletic as K-State though, because I did watch them play at KU last night. They're not as athletic. They are kind of long, but I'm going to pick them to win 69-59.
69-59.
Mhm.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I could see that. Actually, that I would maybe UCF might even score a little bit less than that. Like 69, like 56.
Okay.
We'll have to see.
That's our Big 12 picks for this weekend.
Oh wait, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to adjust my score after some recent knowledge.
Oh, let me hear it.
I think UCF is gonna win.
Oh,
yeah.
Why is that?
Because I just looked at the score against West Virginia and they scored 72 points against West Virginia's 59. So I think what UCF is going to beat Cincinnati 70 or 65 to 60.
You have an upset called. Okay. All right. So yes, like you said, they just won at home against West Virginia.
Look at this Texas-Oklahoma game.
What's the score?
75 to 60. Texas is winning.
Oh yeah, 28 seconds left, and now it's over. Texas won. Wow, Oklahoma getting beat by 15 at home. Oh my goodness, against a rival? That is crazy.
This is a gauntlet. We're giving you live.
Live thoughts on it, dude.
We're giving you live reactions to these games that are concluding right before our eyes.
Yeah, and
I cannot believe it. Texas is like, they're so hot and cold, man. It's like I don't know whether they're like legit or not. And Oklahoma, man, both teams are 3-3.
This conference is nuts. I'm so glad K-State started 4-1. They did exactly what you needed them to do before they start that gauntlet of, I think, like 6 ranked teams in 7 games or something like that.
Would you ever have said that UCF after the first 6 games would be tied or have the same record as Oklahoma and Texas?
That's insane.
After they played against us. They played against us.
K-State put up 77 to 52. They won by 25, and it wasn't that close. Like at some points, I think K-State was up by 30. Like it was.
Yeah, we were up more than what they had on their
for most of the game.
For most of the game, and then we put in our second, like basically everyone on our bench. We like within like I think there was like the last like 6 minutes of the game or something. Like we just it wasn't even close. Yeah, we even threw in the walk-on.
We did. Is there anything else you want to talk about here before we get out of here? We've been on for almost an hour here talking some K-State hoops and some Willie good news and some Big 12 picks and anything else. I feel like we're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, just shout out to the K-State fans. Everybody that has, we actually got a lot of people to join the Facebook group, and it's growing pretty quickly. And if you are watching,
KSU Nation on Facebook.
Yeah, KSU Nation on Facebook. And also don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously, to the YouTube channel. It definitely helps with the algorithm when you like the video. So that way.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I always cut you off. And like when I go back to listen to it, I always do that. And I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine, dude.
We are almost halfway to the subs and watch time that we need to start getting super chats and start making money off of this YouTube, which I never would have thought was possible when we first started. We just started doing it for fun, right? Like we just did it for fun, and now like it feels like a lot of people are liking us, which is pretty awesome. So fans are amazing for sure. And we think
it's really encouraging to know that like people they actually get some entertainment out of this. They get some value out of the conversations that we have. And, we're just talking to you guys as fans. We're not like, I didn't go to school for any of this analytical stuff. I'm watching the games just like you're watching the games. I'm just talking about it with my good buddy Stevie.
I did go to K-State and I did go to school for journalism. So I do have a little bit, but I didn't I got a minor in business. So I did take some like statistics class and some math classes, but basketball, a lot of basketball is just playing, man. It just is, it's just the way it is. But I've had a lot of fun doing this with you, man. This has been a blast.
Yeah. I wish we would have, after we get done with this season of basketball and we get into the season of football next, I mean, we'll have like the summer. It'll be interesting to like figure out what we can do to improve. I know that you had already talked about, maybe upgrading your scenery.
I need to upgrade my scenery and my equipment. And I also thought about incorporating like a different podcast per week, doing some Chiefs football. So I feel like the NFL is an untapped potential for the YouTube, man. Like it doesn't feel like that many people talk NFL football like on there. And like the Chiefs just had the most watched divisional playoff game in the history of the NFL. 50 million people watched it. And I know that I've been trying to listen to stuff about it since then. So I feel like we should incorporate some Chiefs. We'll see if that happens or not. We'll see.
I'll just say this. I think we all can agree that the real winner of that game was Jason Kelce.
Dude, that was the Jason cam after Travis's touchdowns was amazing. It was way better than the Taylor cam.
He was, I mean, I remember seeing so many posts and it was like, Jason is all of us right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one that said, oh, when Jason does it, it's super cool. But when I do it, it's time to go home. Like,
right. Absolutely.
Oh man, it's the internet never fails. The internet is undefeated. Anyway, that's probably gonna do it for us today. Stevie.
Yes, sir.
I got nothing left. I got nothing.
Me neither. Shout out to the K-State women for being 19-1, ranked number 2 in the nation in the coaches poll. This has been the Purple Pod on the KSU Nation YouTube. I'm Stevie B.
I'm Kenny G.
And go Cats, baby.
Go Cats, baby!
Damn, purple.